Welcome guys. Today we shall discuss about the story of village Palampur. That is the first lesson of economics of class 9th. So first lesson of economics class 9th, the story of village Palampur. So the production system, factors of production, how productions of goods and services are going on in villages, that is given in the form of a story, the story of village Palampur. Palampur is an imaginary village, and through this village the Indian village system is coming to our sight, and how the villages are producing goods and services. So far as the contents of this lesson are concerned, introduction, purpose of the story of village Palampur, farming, the main activity of village, non-farming activities are also being done there besides farming, transport facilities for the village, what type of families are living, big, small, low class, higher class, all types of families are living in the village. What is the facility of electricity in the village, the health status, health care facilities, educational facilities, then organization of production, how production is organized and what are its factors like land, labor, physical capital, fixed capital, working capital, human capital. Growing of more crops from the same land. How can we grow more crops from the same land? And then standard unit of measuring land by which we can measure the lands. Irrigation system, which is essential for farming wherever rain falls less. Kharif crops and Rabi crops, two types of main crops are there. Crop seasons, Kharif crop, rainy season, summer season, and Rabi crops, winter season. Cultivated area, in hectares, how much land is cultivated. Green revolution, which played important role in the increase of crops in India, green revolution 1960s. HIV seeds, high yielding variety of seeds that help in the production of crops. Modern farming methods, multiple cropping, more than one type of crops, multiple cropping. Production of pulses, production of wheat, sustenance of land, whether the land will be sustained, it will be continued, it will maintain its fertility, it will be degraded or not. Demerits of green revolution, chemical fertilizer demerits, use of fertilizer, what are the drawbacks. Distribution of land, how land is distributed in the villages, mainly in India. Work on the fields, how work is going on in the fields. Cultivated area, what is the total amount of cultivated area in India? Provision of labor, that means who provides labor, from where labor comes, which is the abundant force of farming. Poverty of farm laborers, those who are laboring or doing labor's works in farmlands, what is their condition? Capital for farming, which capitals are needed for agriculture or farming or cultivation. Then sale of surplus products, if a farmer produces more crops, what he does? Dairy farming, that is related to agriculture and primary activities. Small scale manufacturing, some people produce in small scale, small quantities in villages. Shopkeeping also is one of the non-farming activities. Transport, and then we will summarize the topic so that it will be a revision. These are the contents. Then introduction. The purpose of this story is to introduce some basic concepts related to production. So what is the main purpose of this story? The main purpose of this story is to introduce some basic concepts related to production. So mainly from this story, from this lesson, one can know about the system of production, purpose of production. Palampur is a hypothetical village, imaginary village. So one village is taken so that all the Indian villages can be reflected. Farming is the main activity in Palampur. That means a village or the main activities works of a village is farming. It has also the economic activities like small manufacturing, dairy, transport and shopkeeping. So besides farming, some non-farming activities are there which help the people to earn money, to earn income, to maintain their livelihood, are small scale manufacturing, production in small amount, dairy farming, keeping cattle for milk purposes and milk products, transport. Some people they use some traditional transport, also modern transport like tractors, trucks are used to transport goods and people from village to town and to bring something from town to villages which are required for the villagers. And shopkeeping, some people have opened small shops and sell their goods. The production activities need natural resources, man-made resources, human effort and money. So for any production of goods and services, we need some natural resources like land, water, forest, trees, plants, animals. Man-made resources, houses, machineries, tools, and human effort is required. Human effort, without the effort of human being, without human labor, nothing can be done. And money is of course essential to buy certain things and to pay the laborers. It is a well connected village with other villages and towns. So Palampur village is well connected. It has good link with other villages and towns by roads. It is connected with Raiganj and Shahpur. Shahpur is a small town and Raiganj is a big village. So Palampur has connected. That means all Indian villages are nowadays are connected by roads. The transport like bullock carts, which is traditional Indian transport system, bullock carts are also there. Tongas, bogies, wooden cart, motorcycles, jeeps, tractors, trucks are available. Cycles even also people use. So these are the modes of transport. Then families. What type of families are living in Palampur or in a village, you can say. Palampur represents the village. The village has about 450 families. They belong to different castes. Caste system is prevalent in India. Lower caste and higher castes are there. 80 upper caste families have a majority of land. Generally, who belong to upper caste, they have more land because they have obtained land from the beginning. Their houses are made of brick and cement. As they are moneyed people, they have land. They have more production from land. They are to some extent rich. That's why they have made their houses with brick and cement. The Dalits comprise scheduled caste people, low caste people, Harijans. They comprise 1/3 of the population. They live in a corner of the village in small houses made of mud and straw. Their houses are mud houses and the roofs are made of straw because they are very poor people. And as they belong to low caste, So they live in a side of the village, corner of the village. Now we shall discuss about the electricity facility of the village. Most of the houses have electricity. Now our government has tried to provide electricity to almost all the villages. Electricity helps to run the tube wells for irrigation. So electricity helps to run the tube wells so that water can be supplied to the fields. It is also used for small business purposes. So some people do some small businesses. Some people they run there some small machines to produce something. That is also electricity helps. The health condition, health care facilities in the village. The village has a primary health center PHC run by government. So now government has established a primary health center to treat the people of the village. A doctor should be there, compounder and nursing staff. One private dispensary treats the sick. Besides the government hospital, one private doctor has opened a dispensary small hospital to treat the people. Come to the educational system of the village. Now education has spread to almost all the villages and it has 2 primary schools. So up to primary level, that is up to class 8 now, from class 1 to 8, 2 schools are there and a high school has been established for higher studies. Then organization of production. The main purpose of the story already I have discussed, to give some concepts of production, how production is going on, which factors help in production. That is called organization of production. Production is organized by these factors. The aim of production is to produce the goods and services. It may be one more question. What is the aim of production? So aim of production is to produce goods and services. There are 4 factors of production, namely land, labor, physical capital and human capital. Again I am repeating, 4 factors are responsible to produce anything. Without these 4, nothing can be produced. Land is a must, labor, physical capital and human capital. Now come to first land. It is the most important factor of production. Without land even we cannot stand. So house cannot be made, roads cannot be made, railways cannot be made, aerodrome cannot be made for transportation purpose. And crops cannot grow without land, soil cannot exist without land. Factories cannot be established, banks cannot be established. So it provides space to grow crops, to make factories and houses. Land is required for any production purpose. It provides water, land contains water. It contains forests which provide raw material, minerals, rocks and other natural resources. It provides raw materials for production. So land is the most important factor because it provides place to start factories, to make houses and roads and railways. And water is available from land, forest is available, minerals are available, rocks are available. So raw materials are provided by land, without which production is not possible. Then labor. Land we got. Second factor is labor. It is the second factor. It refers to the people to do the work. So labor refers to the people who do the real work, who really produced. Their hands help in production. Their minds help in production. It includes both educated workers and manual workers, engineers, doctors, professionals, technicians, laborers, workers. All are needed, manual and mental, intellectual, both labor are required in production. Some give some ideas and some people they work out it. The workers provide labor, physical and mental, for production. Then physical capital. It is the third requirement, which includes the input needed during production. Some raw materials, they are needed during production, without which we cannot produce. It is divided into fixed capital and working capital. So physical capital is divided into fixed capital and working capital. Some capitals are fixed, they cannot be used up, but some working capitals are there which are used up during production. Fixed capital. It includes tools, instruments, equipments, machines, and buildings which are used for production over many years. Even land can be also included in the fixed capital. So building, land, machines, big generators, big machines, tools which are fixed. Once you purchase, they will continue for many years. They will not be used up, they will not be destroyed during the course of production. Working capital. The capital which are used up, which are finished in production, are called working capital. So whenever we are producing something, some capitals are there, some things are there, some goods are there, they are used up, finished. It includes raw materials and money in hand. Money is used for payment, for purchasing raw materials. And raw materials are also finished and they produce output. Raw materials and money are always needed during production and are used up. So raw materials are needed. Take the example of a sugar factory. To produce sugar, sugar cane is required. So sugar cane is the raw material and it is used up, finished, while making sugar. Human capital. It is the one of the most important factor, without which no capital can be used. No production is possible. Knowledge, effort, enterprise, interest, and intelligence are called human capital. So a human being's capital are his knowledge, effort, interest, enterprise, ability, intelligence. They make man able to use land, labor, and physical capital to produce goods and services. So human capital, though it is the last but not least, without which other capital, land, labor, physical, working capital, fixed capital cannot be used. So human beings are the human capitals having their knowledge, effort, enterprise, and interest, by which they can produce goods and services. Growing of more crops from the same land. How can we grow more crops from the same land? Land is fixed, it cannot be expanded. But the demand of the people for food grains or food crops is increasing. So how can we grow more crops from the same land? What are the methods? Land is fixed, as you know. More people depend the same land for farming. Suppose you have 5 acres of land and you are farming on this. It cannot be expanded. So out of that 5 acres of land, how can we produce more crops? More crops can be grown by growing Kharif, Rabi and Zaid crops. 3 seasons are there. Kharif crop, Rabi crop and Zaid season. Kharif crop is grown during rainy season. Rainfalls we can grow mainly paddy, bajra, and Rabi crops are grown in winter season. Vegetables, pulses, mainly Rabi crops and wheat. And Zaid crops are grown during summer, that is from April to June, whenever there is no starting of Kharif season and end of Rabi season. In the Zaid season we can grow onion, garlic, ginger, cucumber, watermelon, like these things. It can also be possible by multiple cropping, more than one crop, multiple cropping. It may be due to well-developed system of irrigation by electricity. So irrigation is essential. If irrigation facilities are there, water supply to the field is available, then we can grow more crops. During summer also we can grow, during off season we can grow. The farmers should set up their private tube wells. The farmers who are able, who are rich, they can have their own private tube wells so that they can grow more crops. It can be done by using modern farming methods, very important. Modern farming methods with the help of chemical fertilizers, HIV seeds, insecticides, pesticides and weedicides and modern machineries. So that modern farming methods can be useful, and with this we can produce more crops. Standard unit of measuring land. Generally the standard unit is hectare. But in the local areas, people are using some units, bigha and ginta. And 1 hectare is equal to, remember, 100 square meter, 100 length and 100 breadth. Irrigation system. All villages are not provided with high levels of irrigation in India because rivers are not nearby and other facilities of water are not available. The plains and coastal areas are well irrigated because water available there and very easy to dig canals and drains. The plateau regions have low levels of irrigation, rocky areas, high areas, and the uneven type of land, they become obstacle for the irrigation system. 40% of the total cultivated area of India is irrigated. So whatever the cultivated area in India is, out of that only 40% irrigated, 60% they depend on rain. Canals, wells, tube wells, hand pumps, etc. are the sources of irrigation. So we irrigate from canals, through wells, tube wells, hand pumps. Now we concluded that in the village, story of village Palampur, how production is going on, purpose of production is to produce goods and services, factors of production, land, labor, capital and human capital. Physical capital is divided into fixed capital and working capital. From the same portion of land, how can we get more crops by using modern methods, HIV seeds, irrigation system, multiple cropping, and the families of the villages, rich families, poor families, high caste families, low caste families. Farming is the main activity. In the non-farming activity, we decided or we described that shopkeeping, small-scale manufacturing, transport, traditional and modern, dairy farming, all are included in this lesson. And in the next time, we will discuss the other things that are in the topics. Thank you. Jai.